Hello and welcome to Joburg Today. My name is Dumi Hlapo, bringing you the best of what's going down in and around Johannesburg. According to the South African Bottled Water Association, around 500 million litres of bottled water are sold in the country. Marie's found out how quality bottled water gets to supermarkets.
Bottled water is not, well, just water in a bottle. By keeping a close eye on its members, the South African National Bottled Water Association, for one, helps ensure that you can choose drinking bottled water or water in a bottle.
At the foot of the Drakensberg in KZN, water is pumped from about 100 meters below the surface, down 2 kilometers of pipeline before it gets in touch with oxygen for the first time in the bottling plant. Naturally sourced bottled water can easily travel hundreds of kilometers before ending up on supermarket shelves. Like the water, the South African bottled water industry also came a long way.
Bottled water was legislated by general food safety and quality criteria. So the very first bottlers realized that this wasn't good enough, and they created a guideline and a benchmark for the industry to follow. In July 2007, bottled water's very own legislation was ratified.
Now, the SANBO standard is regarded as one of the best bottled water standards globally. The standard was developed by a team of highly acclaimed microbiologists, food scientists from NSF in the US, UK and South Africa, as well as a team of local experts and hydrologists. The standard was benchmarked also against some of the leading international standards and national legislation.
Since 2007, the single auditable SANBO standard, covering aspects like legal, hygiene, food safety and environmental requirements, has been regulating the organization's voluntary members.
Approximately 85% of bottled water sold in South Africa by volume are members of SANBO. The SANBO logo on a bottle of water offers the consumer a quality seal and a safety seal.
SANBO members are both big national and smaller regional brands. Joburg Today was on site when the latest member went through its application audit.
We met with SANBO before we even took the decision to invest in the bottled water industry, and we found them to be extremely competent, and their knowledge of the industry is unmatched. If you have aspirations to supply product to South Africa's mass market, the only real way you're going to be able to do that is through the large retail chains. And most of the retailers in South Africa accept the SANBO standard.
There's a big saving for the bottling plants in the fact that SANBO has been accepted by the local retailers, because they do not have to undergo a range of duplicating standards anymore. This saving is carried through to the consumer, who can now have total confidence that they're buying a product that is responsible, safe and authentic.
So it seems looking out for the SANBO logo is one way to go if drinking more than just water in a bottle is important to you. Cheers, Marisa de Klerk, Joburg Today.
Hi, this is Matata James and you're watching Joburg Today.
Like us on Facebook, joburgtoday.tv, and follow us on Twitter at Joburg Today. Joburg Today has interesting discussions with the leaders of the city lined up, and this includes all of the MMCs. MMCs of Environment and Infrastructure Services. Anthony Still shares how he plans to shake things up with Pick It Up, and he also talks to us a bit about the water crisis. Check this out.
Give us a better sense of your mandate heading up the Department of Environment and Infrastructure Services.
The mandate is, well, firstly, there's the EISD has a core department of of specialists in science and planning and that sort of thing. So they do licensing, regulation, and an oversight role on, and so they do the core green agenda and also a regulation and monitoring role on the utilities. And then I have the three utilities, which are Joburg Water, City Power, and Pick It Up. So they all have boards, and but you may or may not know that we have announced that we're going to deregister them and bring them back into the city. So I don't know how long it'll take, but in 6 months to a year, they will no longer have boards. And it also causes a lot of reporting for the MDs of these companies. They have to report to their board and to me and to the city manager and to the mayor, and they don't quite know who they're reporting to.
Okay. On the ground level, Pick It Up appeared to be in a bit of a mess this year.
Pick It Up is in a mess. I think the MD of Pick It Up, who has now gone, ran something of a fiefdom there, and there are lots of people which we're not quite sure how the structure works. So we're having to piece that together. We have got the gentleman from Joburg Water, Lungile Dlamini, who is now acting as a Pick It Up manager, and someone else is acting in his place at Joburg Water. But yeah, I think so. There's an organisational bit of a mess which we've got to sort out. And then in terms of their business model, I'm having a close look at that and how we can maybe change some things to vastly increase the separation at source, and to just make, I think, a litter-free Joburg more sustainable. Sure. And by incorporating business in a better way. We're not talking about break it up, pick it up for sale, but I think there are ways of integrating, and so I'm looking at that.
Good.
Yeah.
On the point of water, new water restrictions implemented for Joburg. How serious is the situation? I mean, water supply is always under threat in one way or another.
Well, we buy water from Rand Water. Rand Water is essentially a water wholesaler. They clean water from the Vaal River system and pump it to us and to the other metros in Gauteng and a lot of the other municipalities in Gauteng. So we buy water. We're their biggest client. And it's the Vaal River system, which is run by Water Affairs, which is taking strain at the moment. They are below 50% of capacity, and when you get below 60%, you trigger a drought incident. So it's 25% less than it was this time last year, and so they've triggered a drought incident. Rand Water is pumping less to us. We have to try and choke back on our supply to our customers, which we are doing. And that's not always easy. So we are appealing with some restrictions and a penalty tariff for our residents and businesses to use less. And if they don't, then we have put less pressure in the system. The high-lying areas in particular can run out of water now and will sometimes. So it is a serious situation. The most discretionary water used is for irrigating gardens, and especially by automatic irrigation systems, and we have said you can't use those at any time. People still do. Many people are not listening, and so we are hoping that neighbours and other people will report them, and we slowly get a culture of actually taking this seriously.
Our plea, humble plea to the consumers of water in Johannesburg is to use water sparingly, to reduce their current consumption. Because if we don't, we're going to deplete all the water in the dams. As soon as we do that, we'll not be having water at all. So we want to request everybody to partner with us.
That's all for today. For more on the city, do check out our playlist. From myself, Dumin Hlapo, and the Joburg Today crew, it's goodbye.